Howdy, I'm Dr. Baumgartner.
Cass.
Nice to meet you, Cass. Alright, so what we're going to do today is a general scan of your spine, which is about from the bottom of your head to about your pants line. If at any time during the scan I need to reveal that skin underneath, is it okay if I do so?
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. Are you being treated in the clinic right now?
Yes.
So you're cleared?
Yeah, I'm
awesome.
cleared.
Do you have any contraindications to being treated?
No.
Alright, awesome. I'm going to get you to come over here, I'm going to sit down, and if I can, go ahead and get you to take your shirt off. Let me check the table real quick. Awesome. And I'm going to get you to just face this direction. Knees about shoulder width apart, hands on top of that. You're perfect. Alright, so I found some problem areas in here. Can I go get you to cross your arms in front of your chest? Get in here and further evaluate that a little bit. Bend you forward. Good to go. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Go ahead and get you to flex your head and your neck down real quick. Okay, go. Down. Right. I'm going to get you to flex your head as far as you can down. Thank you. Alright. I'm going to get you to lay face down for me real quick. Further down the right side. Is it okay if I tuck your pants?
Yeah.
Put my hand underneath your right hip right real quick. I'm going to go ahead and untuck you, and you are good to go. During my initial general scan, I noticed several areas that needed further evaluation. The first was the right SI joint. On my initial scan, I used the PSIS as my segmental contact point. My line of drive was at 45 degrees, P to A, and felt no joint play on the right SI joint. Upon further evaluation with my segmental contact point between the ilium and the sacrum, I was feeling for separation. I determined he had an anterior glide restriction with no separation of the ilium and the sacrum. The second restriction I noticed was in the upper middle thoracic. With my fingers in the interspinal spaces of the restricted segment, I assessed for flexion and extension. There was no separation between the two spinous processes during flexion, so I then assessed the right and left rotation and lateral bending using my thumb on the lateral aspect of the spinous process. To assess infill, I used a lateral to medial and P to A vector and found a right lateral bending restriction. So I then assessed the ribs by counting 2 interspinous spaces superiorly and then laterally 2 inches. To assess elevation of the rib pairs, my segmental contact point was at the inferior angle of the rib, feeling for separation between the lower rib. Infill was assessed by pushing inferior to superior, and it felt good. To assess depression of the rib, I moved my thumb to the superior border of it and pushed superior to inferior for infill, and it also felt good. I determined that there was no restriction with the rib pairs. I then used the superior border of the scapula to bisect it with my thumbs and found the restriction was at T4, which was 1 interspinous space below the landmark which I used, which was T3. The last restriction was in the lower cervicals. I started by finding the vertebral prominence, which I knew to be C7. I then counted superiorly to the C5-6 interspinous space. My segmental contact point was on the lateral aspect of the spinous process, and I assessed flexion, extension, left and right rotation, and lateral flexion. For infill, I used a lateral to medial and P to A vector, which was where I found that he had a left rotation restriction on C5.